everyone, what is up? It is me, Ewan from What Culture, joined as ever by Joshy Josh Brown.
Hello,
to talk to you today about the big game that went on yesterday, because there was a lot of things that came about during the big game, including a big, nice halftime show from J-Lo and Shakira. And now we also have some really cool Marvel trailers as well for the upcoming shows on Disney Plus, which we're all very much looking forward to. We'll actually have Disney Plus by the time these things come out, which will be a pleasant change of pace for us, given that we've kind of missed out for the past 6 months.
I know you have to keep going abroad, Ewan, to watch Disney Plus.
I keep on having to have a flight to the Netherlands and then just go and just live in a houseboat for about a week and just go, there we go, my Disney Plus holiday. But anyway, loads of really cool stuff broke overnight, and one of the coolest things actually came from our very own Simon Gallagher, who wrote up a theory about the Loki bits from the trailer, and specifically the stuff to do with time travel. And he pointed out in the trailer that when Loki he has this one moment in the trailer, he's wearing a suit that says TVA. Now, Josh, this isn't actually my wheelhouse in terms of comics. I don't really know much about. I know all the Thor stuff. I haven't actually read any individual Loki comics, but I do know that this is going for a partial journey into mystery vibe, which is what, Kieran Gillen wrote a few years ago. But anyway, he mentions that the TVA symbol is on Loki's chest, and that is actually standing for the Time Variance Authority. The Time Cops are in the building.
So we're getting a Loki crossover with the Time Cops.
Exactly, with the Time Cops. So in Sci's article, he mentions that it sets Loki up as a time criminal. God,
worst kind of criminal.
Time criminal, and the agency as his pursuers through time as they try to mop up his meddling, but also presumably attempt to kill him for breaking the timeline himself. Now, obviously, if you've seen Avengers Endgame, you know that Loki, in this version, he got his hands on the Cosmic Cube and basically went way back in time. So we already thought that this show would be about Loki basically having shenanigans throughout the time sphere, but now we know that Power Rangers Time Force is also in his case. That stands to basically, add an interesting threat to the whole thing. And as Simon points out in his article as well, which you can read on whatculture.com, that, after Avengers Endgame came out, there was that whole thing of being like, well, if they can just fix everything with time travel, why don't they just do that already? But it seems as though the TVA are going, not the Tennessee Valley Authority, if you know your Roosevelt Alphabet Agency, some GCSE history for you there. But, the Time Variance Authority that are out here to basically be cops and stop Loki from doing all the time stuff.
I love the idea of this, and it kind of, for me, sets Loki the TV show up as almost like the Rogue One of this universe, in that it is going to solve a problem that I didn't really believe needed solving in the first place, because although Avengers Endgame came out and that movie dealt with time travel in a way that, was actually really smart, really intelligent, and for the most part, didn't cause too many issues. But yeah, like you said, afterwards there were a lot of bad nerds like us kind of trying to figure out what this time travel meant, whether there was one or two timelines, and obviously the writers and directors of that movie,
They wouldn't stop
talking about it. They disagreed on it. So I like that we've got this, which kind of will put hopefully a nice, neat bow in that, not just, mechanically or functionally, but also by doing it in a really fun way that involves Loki going around a bunch of different time periods and getting chased by time cops, Ewan, which is, as we have mentioned, perhaps the best premise of all time.
I completely agree. As long as we have different actors as well, that are being, in Thor Ragnarok when he's Odin and he sees Thor, he just goes, oh, and I have that. That's my favorite pop in all the MCU, so I'd love to have more moments like that. But anyway, for the actual TVA themselves, their agents are artificial clones called chronomonitors, which begs the question of whether Owen Wilson, who of course was cast in the MCU late last Friday, I was about 4 pints into the Friday evening reveling when I saw this news, and I just couldn't believe I had to do like 5 takes.
You should have seen Ewan's eyes widen and mouth drop at this.
Wow. Basically, so Owen Wilson could be involved. Maybe it's just a bunch of Owen Wilson clones, and they're all really buff.
I'd be here for that, a lot of buff Owen Wilsons. I like the fact that the MCU takes these actors you wouldn't necessarily think of as, perhaps sex symbols or buff people, and then they're like, nah, they're ripped now, he's their shirtless scene. And if they could do that for Owen Wilson, I'm here for it, Ewan. I'm here for it.
I'm sorry, if you weren't fantasizing over Owen Wilson during the peak of his career, what even were you doing?
Maybe.
Yeah, moving on to the rest of the stuff in the trailer, there was also clips for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and of course WandaVision 2, which we're all very, very excited for. Loads of Easter eggs in this one. The WandaVision one we're going to focus on right now because I spotted a few things.
Go on.
And one of them is obviously the comics accurate costume, which we can see for a brief second in the trailer, which is incredible to see on screen.
I was half asleep this morning watching this trailer on my phone, and I was trying and failing to pause it at the exact minute when that costume came up, because it gave me such an early morning pop. I laughed and I really enjoyed that, Ewan. I want to to see more. This show in particular is the one I'm excited for the most because I do feel like they're hiding something or they have something going on under the surface. I do not believe it's going to be as light and as funny as it is. It's going to be, I assume, an almost Black Mirror style, subversion of this.
Exactly. So the actual show itself seems as though it's taking inspiration from Tom King and Gabriel Volta's Vision comic, which is all very much a satire of 1950s, 60s suburbia where the Vision attempts to settle down with his android wife and his 2 android children. And of course, it all goes pear-shaped, as most Tom King comics tend to do. It's all about trauma and all about that sort of thing. Almost like not at all like Blue Velvet, but in the sense that, there's a nice, peaceful, serene image that's, hiding something quite disturbing underneath. And obviously, this time it's about Wanda herself. And I genuinely think that this series will be about her dealing with the trauma of Infinity War and Endgame, and then basically having this whole thing where she ends up altering reality. We end up getting all these, fantastic homages to old sitcoms and stuff. And that is where the next Easter egg comes into, and that is, of course, the presence of the twins, who is most likely going to be Speed and Wiccan, who she creates in the comics by altering reality. At one point in the trailer, you see basically 2 cribs, and they spit out some pacifiers, dummies basically, up at Vision and Wanda. And that would be, in my head, confirmation that those 2 are going to be in the series. Whether or not they're actually going to be a permanent fixture after this, I don't know. But given rumors that of a Young Avengers thing going in the future, I would not be surprised if Scarlet Witch basically ended up creating these children, and they ended up growing up very, very quickly.
Thank you, Ewan, because I was going to say, speaking of dummies, I don't know who those superheroes are, so that's thank you for that history lesson. That sounds like it would be really cool. I want to see the Young Avengers going forward. I want to see all different kind of Avengers teams. Like we've had the obviously the core Avengers for the past few years, but at the end of Endgame, I think it was made clear that everyone's an Avenger. We're going to have different sub-teams in there, so that would be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this so much. I think, like you said, with the way it's sort of acting as a pastiche of all the sitcoms is giving me almost, and this is weird, I was thinking about this earlier on. Did you ever watch the Adult Swim Too Many Cooks sort of viral shot?
I did.
I'm getting mad Too Many Cooks.
God, that's a flashback.
Feelings from this.
That's 8 years old, Josh.
What? No, don't give me this now. Don't give me this information on camera. I can't deal with this.
Too Many Cooks is 8 years old. 8 years old, people.
What else have we got?
Basically after the WandaVision stuff, you've just completely thrown me just Too Many Cooks is 8 years old. Anyway, the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff is also really, really cool. I don't know if it's the same location that we see in Captain Marvel. So at the beginning of this trailer, it looks as though Sam Wilson is training in a kind of bayou-y type area. And for some reason, my mind instantly went to the same house that obviously Monica Rambeau, or Maria Rambeau rather, stays in Falcon, in Captain Marvel, where you got the kind of the marshlands surrounding it. I don't think it's the same place, but again, just my mind just went straight to it. And these films are all connected anyway. But we see that Sam's basically angstily trading with the Shield.
Yeah.
And I think it's at this point he's ruminating over the fact that the US government have basically gone and superseded Steve Rogers' wishes for him to be the next Captain America, and have gone and basically replaced him with a government stooge who we already talked about the other week, and who is obviously US Agent from the comics. And we do see US Agent for a brief moment as well, walking onto what I believe is a football field with his own cheerleaders and hype man, I'm gonna say. So yeah, talking about him being basically, I wonder if we're going to get any callbacks to the first Avenger, where it was a Star-Spangled Man with a plan, and the government just want their propaganda piece to basically go out and do this sort of thing, and then it'll be a case of, Bucky and Sam reclaiming the Shield.
I love that. I don't know much about the US Agent from the comics, but I love what
Captain America if he was a dick.
Excellent. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, exactly what you said there. Captain America is if he, continued being the poster child that they wanted him to be back in World War II, and they continued down that, jingoistic propaganda route. I love that as sort of a concept, and the fact that, Bucky and Sam, they're like the rightful heirs to this kind of this throne, and they've just been sort of pushed aside. For me, this TV show in particular feels like the premiere offering from Disney Plus at the moment. It feels like it's the Mandalorian of like the MCU or whatever. I was reading beforehand that apparently the budgets are about $25 million an episode, which is absolutely ridiculous. And
That's
I think
a lot of money.
6 episodes long, and it does feel like almost as like a film that we could have got. I feel like this could have been a genuine part of like the next phase on the cinematic front, and I love that. I just love that in general these TV shows, again, slip of the tongue, just feel so integral and feel so important. Like there were so many Marvel shows in the past that I've just failed to watch because they don't seem like they're pushing the story forward. They
Daredevil.
I still haven't watched Daredevil season 3.
That breaks my heart.
I know. I love Daredevil season 1 and 2, but I feel like I just got to a point where I was questioning what they were doing with that Netflix universe. I was questioning where it was going. And with all of these shows so far, they all seem like they have an end point, or they're all building to something, or they're all developing the characters in an interesting way that will not only pay off in their own individual shows, but then, you know, affect the wider MCU. And I think that's exactly what Marvel needs to do with these Disney Plus shows in order to get fans like us, you know, really deeply invested.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's some really cool shots in the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff where you've got Falcon chasing down, I don't know who they are. You also see Bucky squaring off with a handgun against Zemo. I'm wondering if he's contemplating killing him for basically what he did in Civil War and how he, you know, basically nearly got him killed by Iron Man, which was a bit awkward, not gonna lie. But yeah, please let us know what you thought of the big game trailer down in the comments below. Were there any other Easter eggs that you managed to spot that we didn't? Please let us know so we can talk about them in a future video, because that would be really, really nice. As always, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell, as it really, really, really does help us out. You can find more news and articles like this at whatculture.com. You can follow me on Twitter at YouRuinsThings, and you can follow Josh on Twitter at
Josh Brewer 2 O's.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.